तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। So here we are in Panchadashi, chapter 13, verse number 45. So we saw व्यक्त काले ततः पूर्वम ऊर्ध्वम अप्ये करूप भाग सतत्वम अविनाशम च सत्यम मृद्वस्तु कथ्यते. Mrudvastu katyate, the material mud is considered real because it is unchanging, substantial and indestructible at all times. Before the pot was made, the mud was there. When the pot is existing, the mud is also existing as the substratum. After the pot goes away or is destroyed, mud continues to be, while it manifests as pot effect and also other after its destruction. So, just like mud was, is, and will be. Similarly, the consciousness, pure consciousness, was, is, and will be. Before you were not there, the pure consciousness was, the self was. While you are there, while this body is expressing, the self is. And after this body will not be there, the self will continue to be. Understand in this manner. So, what was not there before? The form was not there. So, what was not there before? When we take it subjectively, the body was not there before. Thoughts were not there before. Breath was not there before. Now they are there, but our attention is only on the form. So, here the teacher is saying that get out of that and recognize the continuous substratum which is in spite of all the modifications, supporting all the modifications, yet independent of all the modifications. Now doubt is raised. The effect, the pot, is not satyam. The effect, cause is the mud, effect is the pot. So pot is not real. This is his question. The snake on the rope also is not satyam. The snake appearing on the rope is also not true. But his question is that when the rope is recognized, snake vanishes. When the mud is recognized, why does the pot does not vanish? This is the question by the student now. This is his doubt. Pertinent question, no? If you are comparing examples. So once you realize, then the world must vanish.
But it's only once you realize, underline.
No, it's not about realization. He is saying that if you realize the rope and realize that the snake was only an appearance, when you realize that it is a rope and not a snake, the snake vanishes. Now you have realized that pot is only the mud, then pot should vanish. This is his doubt. Why is the pot not vanishing? That's a Beowulf. But it needs to be answered, not just Beowulf. So, if the world is understood to be mithya, the world should also disappear once we come to know the substratum, the reality. Now, this point is discussed. Vyaktam ghato vikarashcheti. Vyaktam ghato vikarashcheti. Aitarnama bhiriritaha. Aitarnama bhiriritaha. Arthasched anrutah kasmat. Arthasched anrutah kasmat. न मृद्बोधे निवर्तते. न मृद्बोधे निवर्तते. If something referred to by these three names, example, manifest, pot, and modification is unreal, why does it not disappear after the knowledge of the mud? Again, the same topic is told that so we have to recognize that the world is only real as appearance, not as reality. So here mud, the mud is real. The pot is borrowing the reality of the mud, and we make the pot a real thing. The real thing in the pot is the mud. The real thing in the pot is not the pot. It's the mud which is real. Similarly, what is that which is real in this world? What is that which is real in you? Which is indestructible?
Self.
Ah, yeah.
Chaitanya.
So pure consciousness, the self. So the teacher is saying, if the meaning indicated by these three words, manifestation, the effect, that is the pot, and the modification in the mud, is only an illusion, why do these three not disappear when one comes to know that mud is the essential nature of these modifications and is the only reality? Is the only reality. Now this is the doubt of the student. Now the teacher will answer. So the student is asking that once I have come to accept and I believe you, O teacher, that the self is the reality, that the reality is the substratum of the whole world, why is the world not disappearing, please? I want the world to disappear. The world will not disappear. There are different examples. You cannot drink the water of the mirage. The snake and the rope example, where the snake, once you realize that it is the rope, snake disappears. Then the example of the pot and the mud and the pot, mud the cause, pot the effect. You realize that it is mud, but you are looking at a pot. See? Example of wave and water. You are looking at the wave. You know it is water. The student is asking, why does the wave not disappear when I know it is water? World is real only as an appearance. Only as an appearance. Just the way the pot is real only as a pot. But it is a relative reality. It is not the ultimate. Mud is the ultimate. So now the teacher says, Nivritta eva yasmate, Nivritta eva yasmate, Tat satyattvamatirgata, Tat satyattvamatirgata, Idrung nirvrittirevatra, Idrung nirvrittirevatra, bodhajanattvabhasanam, bodhajanattvabhasanam. So he says, the teacher is answering, he says, because your understanding about the realness of the pot is negated and not the pot. The negation born out of the knowledge is, that is, the realness aspect of the pot is rejected, but that does not mean that the pot would cease to be perceived. This is Satyatva Buddhi. Satyatva Buddhi means the intellect is giving reality to something. And what has it given reality to? It has given reality to the pot. So that intellect which has given the reality to the pot, that reality is removed. That reality of the pot is removed. Pot is not removed. Reality of the pot is removed. That's all is being done through these exercises of contemplation. So here he says that Satyatva Buddhi is to be discarded, meaning we have to transcend the limitation and modification of the mud. As long as our attention is on the name and form, till then we will keep giving reality to the name and form. And by these examples, what the analysis that was taken, what teacher is attempting to do is impress on our mind the ephemeral nature of the pot. The continuous principle in the pot is the mud. Reality is the mud. The reality of the mud is superimposed on the pot, and we think, and we start giving value to it. And in this way, the teacher says, because if you have understood clearly that the mud which was present before the pot was created, it is present in the pot while it exists and will remain even after the pot is broken, would continue to hold on to its essential five qualities, then the name and form of the pot should have no meaning. What are the five qualities of the mud? That it can, you can smell it, you can taste it, you can it can take form, or it has and it can what do you call, feel it, and it crackles also. So sound, all the five qualities are there in the mud. So nivritta eva, this itself is called the denial of the name and form. You do not have to physically remove it. After the realization that one is the conscious principle, the world will continue to be as it is. Meaning that those people who are wanting to experience something extraordinary in this world as a result of spirituality, they are knocking on the wrong door. They got a wrong idea in their head that something must happen. Nothing is going to happen. Nothing is going to vanish. The world will remain the same. Your body will also be there. Your part of body, breath, mind, intellect is a part of the world. That will also be there. But only one difference will be there. Now that you know that pot is only nothing but mud, do you say, give me a mud of water? You will still say, give me a pot of water, isn't it? You will not say, give me a mud of water, because it is reality. See how beautiful the ocean is hitting the shore. You will not say that. You will say, waves only will hit the shore. You will not say, give me gold, I want to wear it around my neck. Phansi chad jayegi. You will strangle yourself. Then what is it? You will still wear ornament only. You will not wear anything else. You see? So, but while doing all this, where is our attention? Is our attention on the modification, or is the attention on the substratum? If our attention is on the modification and we are given value to the modification, then the ornament is, it is very dear to me. If I lose it, I'll create a racket. If the pot is very, oh, I bought it, I gave so much money, that beautiful painting on that mud pot, now you have broken it because you have given value to it, you will, and you will take care. Don't stop there. Mercedes, same thing. Don't stop there. Come to the body, same thing. We have got put all our eggs into the basket called body. And as it is breaking down, oh, fear comes in. Because you love the body. You have given, the love is of the nature of the self, but you have superimposed it on the body. The love is of the nature of the self, but you have superimposed it on your ideas, your concepts, your emotions, that, oh, I did so much for you and you did not reciprocate. Arre, kisne kaha tha? But because you are giving reality to the emotions, you are giving reality to the mind. And that reality is borrowed from the substratum, which you are, the self. And everything in this world is ephemeral, it's coming and going, because it is subject to limitation and conditionings. getting attached to that which is limited and conditioned becomes the cause of misery in our life. Self can never become the cause of misery. Self can never become the cause of misery. If the meaning of the word mithya is fully understood, this doubt will not arise. Mithya is that which appears but has no reality. When the reality is known, the effect should not be expected to disappear. Our Jnaneshwar Maharaj says, mithya or agyan is incomplete knowledge. Agyan is incomplete knowledge. So right now when we are talking about all this, now we have got the knowledge that the pot is ephemeral, it is limited, it is conditioned, it is temporary, it is finite. Mud is infinite, mud cannot be limited, mud cannot be conditioned in that example, okay? It has got the 5 qualities. The pot has those 5 qualities plus its own qualities, which is the sound, the roundness, the accommodation, and all those different things. What was the other one? Space within it. Mud doesn't have that. So those specific qualities it has generated because of its name and form. So similarly, when we give attention to, when we are moving in this world, remain as the self, move in the self. The more value we give to names and forms, the more values we give to limitations and conditionings, the more miserable we will become. Therefore, if you go to Mahatmas, just now I went to one Mahatma also. I went 2 hours driving yesterday. I was running late to the airport. We went to the one place near Hosur. When Swami Vajreshwarananda was there. He was an IT guy somewhere in America, and he came here and he found one American fellow. He was a yogi. He says, what do you do all this yoga? What is this yoga? He says, comes from your country. And he got inspired. Then he went to Divine Life Society, and there he met one Swami Vidyaranya Swami. And then he said, I want to come and stay here. He says, it's not time now, go back. When the time is right, you will come again. Again he came. He said, okay, I'll give you sannyas, but you have to go and work again. So again he went. And then eventually after some time,
he took sannyas and then went and worked.
I said, kuch rule. There is no hard and fast rule that you cannot work.
Okay.
So he went. Worked, and eventually he came back, and then he set up an ashram just outside. So, for many years I've been hearing about him from Vedanta Book House and from this person whom I'm staying. So yesterday he said, Swamiji, let's go. We're having a dosa. He said, let's go. I said, let's go. I said, traffic? Kehta, nahi, pਹੁੰਚ जाएंगे. She went. But he also didn't know he had already left the body. 2 years ago, he left the body. So I brought his biography. I'm reading it. After I read, you can read. What? Scientists search for reality. He's a scientist. So we went there, Dhyan Mandir is there, we sat there in meditation 10 minutes and 15-20 minutes we spent there, and then again 2 hours driving back. So here the teacher is saying, where are we? If the meaning of the word mithya is fully understood, this doubt will not arise. Mithya is that which appears but has no reality. When the reality is known, the effect should not be expected to disappear. When you have come to know, when we are giving some examples, that the secondary Gaunatma, Mithyatma, Mukhyatma, in this chapter only we did. The secondary self, the primary self, and the actual self. So now you know you are the actual self. Have you stopped being the body? Have you stopped being the father, mother, daughter, sister? Has that all vanished? It is a foolish approach or a foolish mindset where we expect that once we come to know the self, that everything else must vanish. You know, those people who are expecting some esoteric experiences to come about. It may happen. I'm not saying it does not happen. It does happen. But then opposite also happens to that. If you don't continue the practice, then depression also happens. In case of Nirupadhi Brahma, Brahma is appearance. Nirupadhi means Nirupadhi, means without any support. As in the case of rope and snake, when the rope is seen, the snake disappears. In that case, it does happen. But in the Sopadhi Brahma, these are the words coined in the Sanskrit language. Sopadhi means sa upadhi. Sa upadhi means along with modification. Because of one's association with the upadhi, the illusion continues to appear even after the correct knowledge has taken place. For example, the earth is a conditioning in case of the sunrise, or the eyes in the case of the blueness of the sky. So also to understand that only the mud in the mud pot is real is the only way in which the knowledge will take place. The name, form and modification will not disappear. Therefore, to question why the effect the pot does not disappear is a wrong understanding. The only way to go beyond illusion is to understand illusion as illusion, without expecting that the illusion must vanish. Illusion will not vanish. Now, once you have understood that the sunrise and sunset is an illusion, from tomorrow onwards you will not see sunrise or sunset or what? It will not happen. Exactly the same way, understand your take on this world, what you are seeing this whole world. What is your world? Tell me. Define world.
Names and forms.
More something in another way. That's one way.
Changing.
That which is changing. Something else. What is world? Projection, illusion. But you are still not. Yes, all that. Something else. It is Prakriti. Waking, dream, deep sleep. Waking, dream, deep sleep. What else is this world? What else is world? These are all correct. I'm just opening to think in think laterally. Other than the self is the world. Very good. Now define that other than the self. You have done in so many different ways. Come up with more. Incomplete knowledge is the not self, yes. What else? Changing all the time, finite.
Perception.
Whatever you perceive is the world, yes. What else?
It's only waking, dream and deep sleep. That's it.
But where?
Everything
No,
comes inside that.
no. There is something more than that. Where do waking, dream and deep sleep? Where do these three come? They happen in the mind.
Relative.
So mind is also not the world, not the real. So think. I'm just pushing you to think more. So waking thoughts.
Mind without thoughts is self.
Correct. So there are different ways of putting it. So these are different ways you have put, and everything is the world. Everything is other than the self. Some places the five senses and mana buddhi chitta ahankar. all these put together is the world. Mind, intellect, memory and ego plus the five senses is the world. Some places they say, oh, the gross body, the subtle body and the causal body at individual and the total level is the world. So total level क्या हो गया फिर सारे भगवान उसमें आ जाते हैं. Everything is the world. See, understand that way.
That is Brahma onwards.
Brahma is for the rajas, because Maya, ignorance, expresses as sattva, rajas, tamas. Then it keeps bifurcating. So consciousness expressing through total tamas is Shiva. Ishvara expressing through total rajas is Brahmaji. Ishvara or pure consciousness expressing through total sattva is Vishnu. At the individual level, the consciousness expressing through the conditioning of tamas is deep sleep. Consciousness expressing through rajas is the dreamer, and consciousness expressing through the sattva, individual sattva gun, is the waker. See? But all this is a world. It has got nothing to do with the reality. Now that you know that it has got nothing to do with the reality, will you stop feeling hungry? Will you stop? Nahi yaar, I am the reality. I am not the body. So I am not going to eat food. That is not going to happen. See? So this correct angle of approach is what the teacher is saying. Don't get into this wrong idea that something should go forever. Nothing has to go forever. You are taking only one example, the snake and the rope. There the snake goes away. Now don't expect the whole world to go away, because the mind can find different ways for its survival. Your examples are incomplete. I was right. Andar hi andar. To understand the status of the world of names and forms as an illusion is the only way to be in the world and yet remain out of it. The illusion will continue to be. There is no other way of dealing with it. What is the way? What is the only way to deal with it? To accept it as an illusion. And therefore, whatever is illusion, you do not give it importance and value. You know the dream was an illusion, so when you wake up from the dream, you don't give it any importance and value. So start, why you want to wait when I wake up from the waking plane? Where will you go? Stop giving importance and value to the waking world. Automatically the click will come about. One more example is given to illustrate how Supadi Brahma will continue to appear, but that does not give validity to the illusion. See, the world borrows its reality from the self. Can the world be without the self? Can the pot be without the mud? The pot is borrowing the reality from the mud, and we consider it to be real. The ornament is borrowing the reality from the gold, which is the substratum. In other words, the names and forms are borrowing the reality from the substratum. And we take the names and forms to be the real. This is the mistake that we are doing. And this is what is driving our life. This is what is driving our life. It's taking us away from ourselves. Puman adho mukho nire, puman adho mukho nire, bhatopyasti navastutaha, bhatopyasti navastutaha, tatasthamartyavat tasmin, tatasthamartyavat tasmin, aivastha kasyachit क्वचित हैवास्था कस्यचित् क्वचित् कस्मिन् नैवास्था, not हैवास्था, नैवास्था. Although one sees the reflection of a man with head down in water, status of reality is never given to it by anyone like the real man standing on the bank. So here the teacher is giving another example. When someone looks down in the water and sees his reflection as though it is upside down, but he knows that it is not real, although it appears so, you don't get troubled by it. You don't start complaining, oh, I've become upside down. You don't say that. No one ever mistakes the reflection to be the reality, and this we are going through in life. Every time we stand in front of the mirror, we see the reflection, but we never take the reflection to be the self. We know we are someone other than the reflection, but we make use of the reflection, isn't it? In other words, make use of the world. Make use of the world. Don't make use of the consciousness. Make use of the world righteously and get out of it. So, just like a person looking into the water or looking into the mirror does not take himself to be the reflection. Does not take himself to be the reflection. Similarly, this whole world is your reflection. It is your reflection. Don't take it to be real. Be the substratum. No one ever mistakes the reflection to be the reality. The reality is the bimb, the face of a person standing on the bank. In the same way, when the world is cognized as illusion, we continue to live in the world and do not make any efforts to change what does not exist. And therefore, when this clicks in someone's life, you will take life as it is. You will not want to change anyone, you will not want to improve anyone, you will not want to control anything or anyone. All those people who have tried to change the world, our Swamiji said, they have been shaved off. Nothing lasts. Lord Rama came, so much he did. And how long did he have the Ram Rajya? For few years. 14 years of beautiful, wonderful, everyone loving him, he loving everyone, wife, brothers, Hanumanji, Sugriv, everyone living together nicely. And then one day one washerman had to just make one statement and the whole havoc begins again. And Sitaji has to, Ramchandraji sends Sita away. How can I love my subjects? How can the washerman in my kingdom speak like this about me and my wife like this? No. Nothing like that. When Parikshit, Arjuna's grandson, when he became the king and all the Pandavas went away, and he ruled very nicely for many hundreds of years. 17 times Kali Yuga came and knocked on the door and he defeated it because of his righteousness. But could he stop it in the end? He could not. The Kali Yuga played the trick. He said, "O king, you are great." He said, okay. He was not going to get caught up in all this. He says, "You have defeated me 17 times. And when does he catch him? He is gone hunting and all his platoon with him whom he had come, they have gone astray and he finds himself alone and he is thirsty and he is hungry. And Kali Yuga comes in front of him. And he says, "This time I have not come to fight." He says, "Then you want the same treatment?" "No, I have not come to fight. I have come to surrender." And they say that anyone who surrenders to you, you always give him some place to stay. See how he entered? So he says, "Okay, I give you 3 places. Gold, pubs and brothels." Immediately he jumps and gets into his crown. He is wearing a golden crown. And commits his mistake. goes to an ashram, and because he's thirsty, when you are thirsty and hungry, you are angry, it leads to anger. Goes to the ashram, the Mahatma is sitting there in meditation, he says, Hari Om, Namaskar, I'm thirsty, can you give me? But he's in samadhi, how can he hear you? And in that anger, he takes the dead snake, puts it around his neck, and goes away. Someone goes and tells that Mahatma's son. From there only, he curses that the Takshak snake will come and kill you in 7 days. That's how Bhagavad began. See? For how long will you? Time, everything in this world is ephemeral. But what was the result of 7 days of listening to Bhagavad for Parikshit? When the Takshak came and he bit the body, he killed, what do you call? Stung the body with his poison. The person was not there anymore. Parikshit has realized. See? So when the death, so that is death. So when in this life, when the death comes to this body, are you going to be miserable, or you will know and let the death come? Death is for the body, I am free. Imagine the position of the mud. You don't tickle me. Don't tickle me. After tickling the mud, you made a pot out of it. Mud says, "Acha yaar, bana diya, pot bana diya." But it is still aware. Suppose it is still aware. It doesn't care whether it is a pot, it is a glass, it is a katori. He says, "No, I know I am mud." So you also know that you are the conscious self. Don't become the daughter, mother, brother, sister. Don't become the body, breath, mind, intellect. Be the one on whom all these are coming and going. Because nothing is going to change. Those people who go into samadhi, deep samadhi for so many years, I gave one example before, I think. Gondavlekar Maharaj was there, no? From Maharashtra. You know Gondavle. So he was there, and he went to one mountain in Naimisharanya near Lucknow, went inside, one Mahatma was sitting there. Huge, tall fellow. Shook him. He didn't wake up. All chatas and everything. And eventually Gondavlekar Maharaj sat down and introduced a thought in his mind. Can someone else introduce a thought? Yes, one can. Just like you can introduce water in a mud pot, similarly someone else can also, if they are powerful enough, they can introduce a thought in your mind. So he woke up and he says, first question, second question, has Ram taken birth? Gondavlekar Maharaj was Ram Bhakta. He said, yeah, he took birth and he went also. Now it is Kali Yuga again. His third statement, I missed him again. Which means, how many cycles of Chatur Yugas he must have been waiting for Lord Ram? And he's sitting in meditation for so long that he forgets that Ram has come and gone. Someone has to remind him. What's the point of having samadhi like that? We want open-eyed samadhi. We want to see what is going on, isn't it? Without losing the plot. So, in the same way, when the world is cognized as illusion, we continue to live in the world. We do not make any effort to change what does not exist. So what improvement you will do? Today's economics definition is distribution of scarce resources in the world. That is economics. So there is nothing scarce. It's a made-believe scarcity everywhere. No, can't you see the water has gone? Oh, who asked you to plant all the eucalyptus trees? The easiest way to control anything is create confusion. You can control where everything is good. Okay, put a doubt in there, everyone's mind, and you know the answer to the doubt, and you are in control. Everyone say, "Arey Mahatma hai, Mahatma hai." Because don't go to improve this world. You find each one is unique, yet as an individual, yes, but each one of essentially are the same. They are not separate. Just like each wave is essentially nothing but water. Similarly, each one of us is nothing but the self. What improvement will you bring on the self? You can bring improvement in name and form. किसी का हाथ काट दो, किसी का गर्दन काट दो, किसी का पैर काट दो, किसी को stick 2 more hands, stick another head. All that you can do. You can change the house, or you can change, but you can't change the substratum. Names and forms can be changed, but the substratum cannot be changed. And here we are, wanting to change the world, wanting to change the relationships, wanting our children to live up to our expectations, our partners, our husbands, our parents, our husbands and wives to live to our expectations. It's a foolish chase. It will never happen. All we are going to get in that pursuit is only misery. Then what do? If you want to pursue something, don't pursue that the world must change. You change. You come back to be the one who you are, the substratum. Then you will see perfection everywhere. I very often quote this. A pessimist looks at the world and sees only problems and challenges and difficulties. An optimist looks at the same world and sees only opportunities and possibilities. A realized master also lives in the same world and sees only perfection. So where is the change? Where is the difference? Not in the world. World is the same. It's in what angle of perception you are having. How you are looking at everything. One is with a pessimistic glasses he is wearing, another one is wearing optimistic glasses, Mahatma is wearing clear glasses. Seeing as it is. See? These are not just to please you and please my mind, no. This is the vision that we need to cultivate. And that vision I can't even say that you can cultivate it. All you have to do is come back to the original. And that vision automatically expresses. Just like before you were a girl, and then when you got married, immediately everything changed. Now I'm a wife. Now I'm Mrs. So and so. I'm Mr. So and so. I'm the husband of my wife. Who are you? Introduce yourself. I'm the wife of. She doesn't want to say Jamura. Oh. Huh? Jamura is a monkey. I am the wife of that monkey. See. But this has to be translated in our daily life. Otherwise, where are our all stresses and tensions? In expecting our children, our partners, our parents, whoever who is near and dear to us, or the government, or the road traffic, or whatever, that they must change, they must behave themselves. What will be their future if they don't do this now? Your parents also said the same thing about you. You forget. But सब ठीक ही हो गया ना. If the superimposition is an illusion, does that necessarily give one knowledge about one's own essential nature? Idrugbodhe pumarthatvam ईदृग्बोधे पुमर्थत्वं मतमद्वैतवादिनां मृद्रूपस्यापरित्यागात् विवर्तत्वं घटे स्थितम् Tattvam ghate sthitam. In this way, the manifestation of non-dual bliss by knowledge of the substratum is meant by liberation for the followers of non-dual Brahman. The appearance of the pot, effect, which is the effect, exists in the mud, which is the cause, without rejecting the essential nature of the mud. Thus, the pot is vivarta in the mud. Remember, we told that the creation is of three types. Parinami, the second was Arambhaka, and third was Vivarta. So one was that you begin with milk, and the Parinam is yogurt. So the milk has transformed into yogurt. So has the divinity, has the self got transformed into the creation? No. This is not how the creation is. Then Arambhaka is you begin with a thread and you get a rope, or you begin with a thread and you get a cloth. Is this how the creation is? No, this is also not the way creation is. That you begin with something and end up with something else. Then the third option is Vivarta. Vivarta is a mere appearance, existing in its own absence. It's merely a projection of the mind. And that is the only way we must interact with the creation, with this whole world. In this world there is no cause and effect. In this world there is no, what do you call? Not in this world. In this reality there is no cause and effect. The world is a result of cause and effect. In reality, there is no cause and effect. In reality, there are no names and forms. Reality is as it is. Therefore, if you have heard many times the stories, Manu and Shatrupa, they asked the Lord Narayana, "Oh Lord Narayana, we want," they do tapasya. Lord Narayana says, "Ask me a boon." They say, "We want a child like you." He says, "There cannot be anybody like me." Then what to do? I'll have to be born through you. Atri and Anusuya, they also did tapasya. The Lord presented themselves. They said, "Ask a boon." He said, "I want children like you three." He says, "There is no one like three of us." Then what to do? All three are born to her. No, she says, "I want a son who has all the qualities that you three have." He says, "How can that be possible, man? It's a dharma sankat ho gaya." How do you do it? Then Dattatreya was born to her. See? So this reality is one without a second. There is nothing like it. Just a simple example at a physical level. Space is untouched by anything in this whole, whatever is existing in it, isn't it? The entire galaxies, cosmoses, universes, solar systems, it's not affected by that. If it was affected, oh my God, where is this solar system vanishing into? It will feel the loss, but it doesn't. Do you feel the loss of breathing out every day? Every 70, how many times during the day that you breathe out, the breath is going out? Do you feel, "Vapis aayega ki nahi aayega, pata nahi. Is it going to come back? Is it going to come back?" Does this fear come? Does this fear come that the thoughts are, when you go to sleep, and all your knowledge about the world, slowly the memory is dying. You don't want to think. But do you feel the loss of it? You're welcoming, let everything vanish from the mind. I want to go to sleep, isn't it? Then why this question comes to us when we are sitting on the seat of meditation, wanting to be the self, and the mind starts undoing itself, and we say, "Oh man, I'm losing the whole plot of life. I can't remember anything." You don't complain when the same thing happens when you go to sleep. The form goes, the body identification goes, the yesterday, your identity as a person, whether you are mother, daughter, brother, sister, whoever you are, all that identity goes. Only then you can go to sleep. Exactly the same thing will happen when you are sitting on the seat of meditation or you do japa. But that time fear comes. Arey yaar, all problems begin only when I start doing japa or I come to the seat of meditation. See? Unfounded fears. These unfounded fears are because we are given undue value and importance to the world. When going to sleep, our value and importance to the sleep is more than the world. That's why we go to sleep. And we are ready to discard the entire experience of the world, waking world. Lose cognizance of everything, including our identity. Because we know it refreshes us. We are ready to surrender. We don't know what sleep is, yet we surrender to it. Because we become refreshed. Now imagine if, and that you have experienced so many times during the life, in your life. And we have not experienced realization, even though we have. Even though we have experienced being the self so many times in the day, but we are not, how should I say, it has not clicked to us yet. If it clicks, you will realize you will not give importance to the world then, to the relations. You will do whatever is required, but you will not give importance to it. And you will not let them know that you are not giving importance also. That's the game. Krishna gave importance to everyone at the right time, in the right place. Never any of his wives ever came to know that, felt neglected. Never felt neglected. Even Draupadi, who is so far away, she calls out and he comes. He never, anyone who remembers him, who is surrendered to him, he takes care. The Lord, I'm saying. Exactly the same way here also. The self also. The more we contemplate on the self, the fear of losing the world, that will go away. And we have not had any experience, a cognizable experience, like we have a cognizable experience called sleep, where I can analyze. I surrendered and I woke up and I was fresh. We don't have that experience with regards to the self yet. Even though we are having, we are not learned to catch it. Because between every two thoughts, you are there. We want some special experience, I want to go deep into meditation. I want to do Brahmari. I want to do Kundalini sadhana. I want to do this sadhana. I want to do that sadhana. And then, some molten lava is coming up my spine. My head is buzzing like bees. I can see the sun rising in the horizon when my eyes are closed. Oh my God. Now I can hear so many sounds of music. These things may happen to some people. But holding on to these, that is the final, you are going the wrong way. From Vedanta point of view, nothing needs to change. Only your take on the world needs to change. And that take on the world will change only when you abide in the self as the self in the self. Uddharet atmanatmanam natmanam avasadhayet. Raise yourself in yourself by yourself. No other support can bring this about. no pushing the air, no kumbhak, no japa sadhana. All they may be helpful tools, but they cannot bring about what you are already. So in Vedanta, when we are thinking like this, even while thinking, we fall back into ourselves. Even while thinking, even while listening, we fall back into who we are, fall back into the source. And that source is the self. We just start being. Nothing special needs to be done. Arjuna did not do anything special on the battlefield when he heard Bhagavad Gita. All he did was actively listen to what Krishna was telling. The word is Atmasat Kiya, means he took the information and made it his own directly. He subjectively applied everything that was being told by Krishna. Only a shift in thinking. Nissan says, shift your thinking. That is their logo. Shift your, here we are not shifting our thinking, we are shifting our position. So when I am reading the book, words are given there, you are listening to my words, words are falling on your ears, but where is our position? Is my position, oh my God, I can't understand this, I can't do that? Nothing. It's only information. So while I am talking, while I am reading, while I am loudly contemplating, about what? What? The be, to be. So while you are listening, you don't, oh, he used this example yesterday, he used this example last time, same thing he repeats sometimes. So don't get into all that. Anyway, who cares? Come back. All these are pointers to push us over the line. That's when click will take place. Click is not something you switch on and off there. No, it is not. This click is just the disposition will be different. That's all. Without your wanting, desiring, on one hand, the world will drop away. On the other hand, you will be completely content in where you are, as you are, how you are. That contentment cannot come while little bit hook of the world is still there. But it will happen simultaneously. So here the teacher is saying, Advaitavadinam idruk bodhe pumarthatvam matam. Those who are followers of the Advaita Siddhanta, the principle of non-dual self, hold the view that other than Atma, all else is an illusion. All conditioning in the form of relationships are seen only with reference to the pure self. When the external conditioning is not in tune with the pure self, the conditioning will be discarded in order to go back to the source. For the sake of Atma alone is the world taken to be real or unreal. So it's not here, it is not that, oh, this situation is not conducive to my growth, I will discard this condition. No, that situation has come into your life so that you correct your interaction with that. Not expect the world to correct itself so that it can remind you of the self. No, we have to correct our interaction with the world. So am I interacting with the world as an individual, as a Gaunatma, as a Mithyatma, or as Mukhyatma? Which position is mine? That will determine what experience I am having, isn't it? World will keep coming in different ways. All conditionings in the form, reference to the self, okay. This is the meaning of fulfillment of life and discovery of self-realization for such Advaita Siddhantins, the followers of the doctrine of non-dual self. See, the intensity of projection or acceptance is why we get influenced by the world. Meaning, wherever, with what intensity we project, sometimes I wish I had that. I hate capsicum. Nowadays children say that way, adults also. So much emotion. There's no capsicum in front. Only in their mind. I hate that. When someone tells me like that. Change. Don't go into all that. Don't get excited. Oh, my favorite, most flavor of ice cream. Yeah. Again, you have created such an intense attachment to that particular flavor that if it is not there, you will become miserable next time. So more intense the projection, the more you are caught up in the world. When it
Does that mean that we don't put an effort to, say, get detached to the world? Or will it just happen on its own?
in Vedanta there is no question of effort. Advaita Siddhanta does not go into karma
As sadhana.
as sadhana. It's only redefining yourself, that's all. In that redefining and coming to the correct identity of yourself, everything clicks. Is undone. Because putting efforts, meaning a distance to be traversed. You are starting from somewhere and you have to reach somewhere. That is where efforts are, isn't it? But in Advaita Siddhanta, the beginning is also you and the destination is also you. So where will you walk? What efforts will you put? What efforts will you put? You are the seeker and you are the destination. You are the small eye and you are the big eye also. You are the individual and you are the Atman also. Where will you go? What efforts will you put in that? How much efforts will the wave put to realize that it is water? Think. How much efforts will it put? How much efforts will a ornament put to realize that it is gold? It is already. All it has to do is give up obsession with the name and form and come to the true identity. So where are we stuck? In the name and form. We take this to be our true identity. We have to redefine ourselves, that's all. Will the name and form vanish? No, it will not vanish. It will continue to be. So while functioning through this equipment of body, breath, mind, intellect, meaning while this is the phenomena. Consciousness is expressing, relatively speaking, consciousness is expressing through this body, breath, mind, intellect. It's a phenomena. But there is no owner of this body, breath, mind, intellect bond, which is called the individual. See? There is no owner. We become the owner and we become miserable because we get identified.
Vedanta is said that Advaita Siddhanta is the same.
Same, Advaita. When it is understood that the essence of the pot is the mud, without rejecting its own essential quality, the pot will appear and yet disappear. And this is the phenomena. Sometimes the pot will be, sometimes it will not be. That is the ephemeral nature of the pot. What's the time? Hmm? We'll just conclude this. The appearance and disappearance of the world has nothing to do with Atmananda. Once this is understood, one will no longer be disturbed by the names and forms of the world. Therefore, it is not correct to say that the knowledge of names and forms are an illusion, does not necessarily give knowledge to the knowledge of the substratum. For without the substratum, illusion cannot be. The joy that one derives from names and forms of the world comes not from the names and forms, but from one's own Atmananda, which we superimpose on the world. Remember, before we say whatever we like, it's not, you don't like your husband for the sake of the husband, you like the husband for your own sake. You don't like the children for their sake, you like the children for your sake. Remember that analysis in the previous chapter was there. So understand this. Just like the quality of the permanency of the mud was superimposed on the pot, similarly the permanency of the self is superimposed on the body, breath, mind, intellect, or on the world, that we don't want to lose the way the world is. That's why we keep bringing, when we were young, the world was like this. I don't know where it is going. Another 10 years, you'll say, 10 years ago it was much better. The joy that one derives from the names and forms of the world comes not from the names and forms, but from one's own Atmananda, meaning the bliss of the self, which we superimpose on the names and forms. The status of the world then is only appearance on the pure self called Atmananda. There are two ways of discarding matter. Matter means everything other than the self. Not self is matter. And we just remember we did a brainstorm, all that was matter. 1. Maintaining control on oneself by obeying the rules governing matter and thus transcending the limitations of body, mind and intellect. And the second, understanding the world is vivarta and illusion. We'll see these 2 points in our next class. Talk more on it. How to control the matter, and and second thing is the world is vivarta, only an appearance. This we have talked about enough. The first point we'll talk about in our next class. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om. Sit quietly for a minute.